Okay, I want to make some progress on the VR menu. So the ultimate goal, or the next big goal, is to be able to edit and place primitives in VR, change the color of the object, delete an object. And we have this working through 2D menus, either with Phoenix Live View, and which we sort of ported to Svelte, but that still doesn't give us access to be able to jump into VR and do it. And I think there's no way around it. We have to create some VR menus, which we have to use the advanced texture to do. So we need a way to be able to open and close a menu and then switch a mechanism to switch between pages of a menu. So I think that we might need a bit of boilerplate in order to specify what is a page. So why don't we create a folder for all our menu stuff? So call it menu, and in here we can have pages. And what if in a page you could have a class for each page? So we can have, let's say, an about page. So this might be class menu about. Sorry, let's call this TS. And each class page, menu page about. Each class can have some state, but it is also an advanced texture. So maybe we can subclass advanced texture. How do you subclass with Typescript? Subclass inherits. Extends. Okay, and so you can create a new one. It takes props, or sure, just give us. I think this just takes a name, and you can call super, which just takes. No, it takes a couple of props. Scene, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we'll take all of these things. Call them props, and give it 2 props. Takes name string. So I can't just pass it through. params. Let's see if anybody else has extended this before. Okay, can't find any examples of this. How about PS pass all args in constructor to super. Super dot 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 args. Dot 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 args any. Dot, okay. All right, so now we have our page. By creating it, it will create an advanced dynamic texture, and we can define the shape of it. So I think we also want under menu just some helper functions. And so I'm defining some syntactic sugar around creating GUI elements. Okay, the first one is this Gui method. So I found this on a blog somewhere. Let me give credit. Might have been, yes. How to build your own version of React from scratch. And here they have a create element function that you can take a type for a component, some configurations, and then some children. So you would convert the config to props, check if it has children, and then map over the children, create a text element if it's not an object, and then return this. So the difference here is that they are returning a type of struct, like instructions for how to create a DOM element, and so that they can diff. We're not going to do diffing, we're just going to create a whole new texture. But the thing that I like about it is this ability to take children in. So I feel like it might be a little bit more concise and look a little bit more like HTML if you can take the children. So cite the source. Comment it like this. So our version of a GUI kind of create element takes a GUI type, which is from this library. So we're just saying this is the class name of the thing we're going to instantiate. Pass that to us so we can instantiate it. So then this becomes a container of some kind for other things like divs, links, and then props are any kind of property, and typically I just send the name here in case I want to name it. And the reason why you would want to name it is because you want to add some you want to be able to find it by its name in order to add an observer such as an on pointer up observable so that you can capture the clicks. I think maybe instead of doing that, maybe we can just add an on-click handler so that we don't have to pass those things in afterwards. Yeah, so maybe we don't need any props at all. And so anyway, that's there. And we have children. And it returns a kind of GUI container. So first we instantiate it. We set all its clipped children to false. This was so I could debug and I can see some of the things, because sometimes it's clipped and below the fold I can't see where it's at. Then we apply attributes, taking all these props, and I have this apply attributes function over here. And what this does is it takes an element as a target and any props, and both of these are objects, and it just assigns, it's like a merge. It will call the setter on the target, effectively assigning the properties onto this container. Now it's possible you might have some keys that this thing doesn't recognize, so this might need a try catch. Do a try. You could try to assign it and it might not exist on there. But since it's an yeah, it might not have a property of it, so we can just ignore it. And then for all the children, we'll map over them, and then if it's an object, we leave it alone. If it isn't, then we call ourselves again, passing in the type of a type of text block. So that makes it convenient to have a more syntax similar to HTML, where the child is just plain text in between the opening and closing tags. And then we switch on the length. So if it's no child, we do nothing. If it has one child, we add it as a child by doing add control. If it has multiple children, we'll assume they're vertically stacked, so we create a panel, and then for every one, we'll give it a height of 20 pixels, and then we add this in. Okay, so this is this generic G function, or GUI. And then there's some other convenience functions which you can go and style after the fact. You can style by name, style by type. That's why you might hand in the name of a particular element in order to be able to style it. Yeah, so we want to keep these props here. And I think this cannot be optional since this is a spread. I think that's just going to be required. Okay, and then I have some exported functions for buttons, divs, and these just call this Gui method, and A tags. So I'm kind of mimicking the functions that you would find in HTML to try to get them to behave this way. And let's see, so this one adds a on pointer up. Yeah, so what I think we should do is just import the message bus and send a message that this thing was clicked if you click this. Okay, so I think this thing should import what is it called? Signal hub from Signal hub. And so whenever we have a link, let's just send something on Signal hub. So we do signal hub.next, and then the event is menu link clicked, and the data or payload will be the name or the maybe we'll call it target, will be the target payload target, and give that to me in the props target. So props comes in element GUI button. Okay, pointer is my enemy. Mix that in with props. And if it doesn't have props, let's do this. If props target is empty, then console.error no target on menu link. Okay, that will allow any link to just send a message on our message bus, and we can do something about that later. So we have these helpers. Now back to our About menu, we can build a menu with these things. So this is going to be the advanced dynamic texture. So I think if we import everything from helpers, we can say, let's just create a container and a text box. So we can say GUI dot rectangle and no props, and just say hello about me. This gives back some control, and then we say this dot add control. So I think that gives us a menu page. And in order to test this, me just comment out this experimental stuff for a moment here. Scene manager, menu manager, create the scene. So currently, when we load this, we have nothing here. This is going through Svelte, and it's just scene manager getting open menu. Okay. Where's that? Getting open menu. No. Scene. Scene manager. Scene manager. Ah, yes. But nothing's listening to it, right? Scene manager getting, and we're not doing anything with it. Open menu. Anybody's listening on open menu? Okay, menu manager is listening toward it. Right. All right, let's put back menu manager, but okay, let's build it up slowly. So we have a menu manager will use and create these different menus. So we'll put a new menu manager up here. So you'll give us the scene. In fact, maybe we can copy this constructor. So menu manager constructor. We need the scene and the slug. Okay, we'll retain that. And we'll listen to the different links, and then we'll call upon and create the different textures. So we'll listen here. So we need the signal hub. And signal hub, subscribe, and we'll filter, pipe first, then filter, and so we'll take the message, and it will return where message.event must equal open menu. So given that specific message, we'll subscribe to it, and with that message, we'll do something. We'll say Let's call this open menu. And let's try importing menu page about from pages about. So this thing can say new menu page about, and it can be, oh, I don't like that, it's not typed. Can you just use the supers constructor? TS use construct use base classes constructor. The constructor is not inherited. Okay, let's just use this thing. AdvancedDynamicTexture moves all of these things. Copy, and we'll just do that. Okay, let's just call this the menu. Menu about. It creates a texture, so it should be immediately visible. Actually, when you create a texture, You're creating it for full screen, or okay. I guess it doesn't need to inherit from it. You can just enclose it. That might be easier. Yeah, that might be easier. Okay. Back to about. Let's not inherit. Let's just give it a name. And you can create public. Let's just say texture is a GUI advanced dynamic texture, and say this this texture equals that. So newing it up inside here should place it on the page. So calling that, so all we have to do is instantiate this inside the scene manager now. The scene manager will import menu manager from a different place, which will be menu manager. We'll say that the class has one, and after the scene is initiated, we'll create the scene manager, passing in the slug and the scene. It's not assignable to, okay, let's go in here. That'll be on scene, yes, because we don't know what that is. And since it's there, it's listening. As soon as we click the button, we should see something appear. But let's also just console log opening menu. So now here, if I click here, we see hello about me and we see opening menu. That's great. Let's make a link. So in the about us, we can say template and move this down here, and we'll just return this, and this can be this template. So the texture, add control, that is this template. So we have a rectangle, and this might just be the main menu. So let's not call this about, let's call this main. Or we can continue to have this be about. Let's create another one called main then. So main, yes, and we'll just copy all this stuff over into main TS. Except we'll call this menu page main. And I think we should well, we can take care of that later. So this will be the main menu. Main menu. And menu manager will open main, click here, main menu. And now I want to add a link. So in the main menu, you can have a rectangle, and this will be one of the children. So the first child is main menu, comma. Second child will be a link. So we add a. I guess we need a. Okay, so the link, I think we need a target. Target be about. And we'll just call this, no, we'll call it about. Okay, so now we have a link here. We're gonna get a, yeah, so we got a menu link clicked, target about. So now we're gonna listen for this inside the menu manager. We should make a convenience function for this. We'll take a break. What if we take this and put it into Signal Hub as a function called listen? Export const listen, and it takes an event string and returns this thing. So we take Signal Hub, we pipe filter, import filter from JS operators. So we listen to the event, and this, then we subscribe and do something. So we don't want that part, we just want to return this part. So menu manager can now say listen to open menu. So let's bring in listen open menu. And this one can be Okay, listen to something else. What was it? Listen. Menu link clicked. And now we can switch on the message. Switch. Message. Data. Target. Sorry, payload. Ah! Alright, so case this says about. And then we'll open about. What does about do? So new menu page about. Menu about. But we also want to hide main menu. So every time we get a new menu, we should return something about that, right? Well, we have the class, and every class needs a dispose. Just do that, that, and that. So these both have dispose methods. Then in menu manager, in you might want to keep track of the current menu. Public current menu. And let's just do main. And this will be main. So I'm trying to dispose of the previous menu. We come in here, click here, it opens the main menu. If I click about, it closes that, it switches it to this about me. And we could put another link in here on the about page. That's okay, so we have a rectangle, and above this we could say a, let's bring in a, and then the target will be, go back to main, and just say back. And this will give you, click on this, just say back, click on that. Didn't work. Let's see. Oh, it's the name has to be matched somewhere. Okay. I think these could be combined into one. So instead of calling open menu, we can just say go to menu or open menu. Just whatever menu you're asked to open, close whatever previous menu you have, and then call that function. Okay, so let's look at where we're calling open menu. Open menu is being called in Svelte menu overlay. So we could say open menu target main. And in the manager, we'll say if this current menu, then dispose this current menu, dispose. And then the target will say this, is there a message with message payload target? If there is, call that function. So then menu will just open this thing. In fact, if this gives back the new menu, let's assign it like this. Let's assign it like let replacement menu equal this. And then we dispose of that, and then say that this current menu is equal to the replacement menu. So that's what we do when we get a message to open a menu of a specific target. Let's get rid of this one where we're using this. So we had a helper that was sending it, and this happens in the A helper. So now we just need to send open menu instead. And the target will be whatever one you send through. So then we don't need this. About and menu. And okay, where are we using it? So about, we're sending main. And then in main, we're sending about. So if I click on about, oh, we didn't remove the previous one. Okay. Okay, see. Okay, the first time you come in, you create a got main, and you assign this to a constant. So if this has a value, which it doesn't, skip it so you don't dispose, and then you put this here. Second time, you come in here and you're going to go to about. So this gets about, and this should have a value. Oh, we got to make sure though, right? Because about, okay, so these need to return something. Okay, we got a nice little menu going on there. Main menu goes to about, back, hello, about me. Let's add another menu item for edit. So in the main, we'll add another link called target edit. Call this edit, and what will happen here? Should get some error because I don't have such a function. Yep. So let's make this error handling a bit better. So if message payload target and this message payload target, then do this. Oh well, let's make it this way. Let's make it a guard. If there's no target or there's no function defined for that name, then console.log undefined menu link target. And give it the message payload. And return. So we can go like this, I go edit. We can make this an alert or error. Cool. let's define an error. Define an edit. Return new menu page edit. So let's make a page for edit. And we'll bring in main. And edit space will be the title. And we can say maybe we'll just get a list of primitives. So this could be how about box, cone, sphere, plane, grid, etc. So I'm going to import it, and also I'll change this. Okay. Okay, so these won't operate like links. These will be things that you can click on or highlight and grab them out, or you can click on them. Now I'd like to see what happens. Okay, oh cool. So this will just toggle it. This makes it open. So we should toggle this so that it closes the menu. Yeah, there's nowhere to close the menu now. That's okay. We'll take a break here and test it out in VR.